Have you ever wondered why one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world, Japan, is dropping a massive amount of cash to upgrade a fleet of Cold War-era fighter jets until they're practically unrecognizable? Especially when the Japan Air Self-Defense Force, or JASD, already has the ultra-advanced 5th-generation F-35 in its arsenal and is ordering more without hesitation? Why not just scrap the old birds and buy brand new ones to call it a day? Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes of the most aggressive strategic shift in the Pacific. We're going to get up close and personal with the modified Mitsubishi F-15J, which is far more than just a standard fighter jet. It's the absolute backbone of the JASD, facing off against the most intense airspace tension on the planet. We're talking about an environment where a single miscalculation or a delayed reaction could literally trigger a major international conflict. I'll break down exactly why Japan's F-15 is nothing like America's and why it remains a total nightmare for rival superpowers. Get ready, because we are diving right in. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you follow global geopolitics and military tech, you already know how boiling hot the region around the Japanese archipelago is right now. If you look at a map, Japan is flanked by military superpowers that are ready to test their patience on a daily basis. Picture this: while we're just going about our normal lives, grabbing a coffee or sitting at our desks, the scramble alarm at Naha Air Base in Okinawa might be ringing for the second or third time today. Pilots have to sprint for their lives to their F-15Js, fire up those twin engines, and launch into the sky within minutes to intercept Russian bombers or a swarm of Chinese fighter jets buzzing the very edges of their sovereign airspace. The statistics are actually staggering. Over the past few years, the JASD has had to execute an average of nearly 1,000 scrambles per year. Let me repeat that, nearly 1,000 times a year. That means at least 2 to 3 times every single day. We're talking about massive Russian Tu-95 Bear bombers probing their northern borders, or Chinese H-6 bombers and J-11 fighters testing the waters down south. The physical and mental toll this takes on the JASD fighter pilots is unimaginable. You try maintaining your sanity when you know a siren could force you into a high-G interception over the freezing ocean at 3 a.m. And the unsung hero carrying this crushing pressure on its shoulders is the Mitsubishi F-15J. This is the real workhorse of the Asia-Pacific. It's not just an airshow display piece, it's a combat-proven machine that has faced countless near-miss, close-quarters encounters with its rivals. With this level of tension, pilots need nerves of steel, and the aircraft must offer supreme, bulletproof reliability. The raw power of the F-15's twin engines and its rugged airframe answer that call perfectly. But wait a second, if you think Japan's F-15J is just an American F-15C with a Japanese flag painted on the tail, you are dead wrong. Back in the 80s, when Japan selected the F-15, the US wasn't exactly handing over its absolute top-tier tech to allies with no strings attached. Critical electronic warfare systems and certain radar capabilities were deliberately stripped out. The US basically said, you can have this incredible airframe, but you're going to have to figure out some of the brains inside yourself. And that was the exact catalyst that turns the F-15J into a completely different beast. But you have to remember, this was the 1980s. Japan was in the absolute golden age of its economic and technological boom. They were dominating the global electronics market. So when the US said no to giving them top-tier electronic warfare suites, Japan didn't just accept a downgraded jet. Japan, already an absolute powerhouse in electronics, just went ahead and developed their own electronic warfare suite to stuff inside it. This gave birth to the J-ALQ-8 system and the J-APR-4 radar warning receiver, designed entirely by Japanese engineers. So even if America wouldn't give it to them, Japan built it themselves and fine-tuned it perfectly to match the specific electronic signatures and threats in their own region. On top of that, Japan secured the rights to manufacture parts and assemble the aircraft domestically through Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, giving them a masterclass understanding of every inch of this jet's architecture. The F-15J's lethality doesn't stop there. As time passed and threats evolved, the weapons had to upgrade too. Japan developed its own air-to-air missiles that shocked the world, the AAM-4 for medium to long range and the AAM-5 for close-in dogfights. Imagine this, Japan's AAM-4B was actually one of the first air-to-air missiles in the world to successfully cram an AESA radar, the same kind of advanced flat-panel radar you find in the nose of modern fighters, into a compact missile head. Normally, a fighter jet has to keep its nose pointed at the enemy to bounce radar waves off them and guide a missile in. But with an AESA radar built right into the missile itself, the AAM-4B acts like a pit bull off the leash. Once it's fired, it uses its own incredibly powerful eyes to hunt down the target, allowing the F-15J pilot to immediately break away and evade incoming fire. It's a true fire-and-forget weapon. Its accuracy and anti-jamming capabilities are absolutely god-tier. But there's a catch. The AAM-4 is bulkier and has longer fins than the American AMRAAM, meaning it simply cannot fit inside the tight internal weapon space of a stealth fighter like the F-35. And that right there is a massive piece of the puzzle as to why Japan absolutely cannot let the heavy-lifting F-15J go. To give you a clear picture of the differences and the sheer scale of these upgrades, I've put together a basic spec comparison. We're looking at the standard JASDF upgraded F-15J versus the future F-15JSI, or Japanese Super Interceptor project, which is highly comparable to America's top-tier F-15EX. I've also included the estimated rough order of magnitude, or ROM, costs for a 12-jet upgrade package, so you can see the numbers clearly in US dollars. Now, let's dive into the guts of this table to give you a clear picture. Looking at these details, it's obvious that the JSI upgrade is about transforming the soul of this jet from a standard interceptor into a full-blown heavy weapons truck. Starting with its eyes, the older mechanical or early AESA radars are being completely ripped out and replaced with the top-of-the-line AN-APG-82-V1 AESA radar. This is the exact same radar used in America's brand new F-15EX. It cuts through enemy electronic noise like a hot knife through butter, allowing the pilot to track multiple fast-moving targets simultaneously at extreme ranges. As for self-defense and electronic warfare, Japan is moving on from their homegrown J-ALQ-8. This time they are going all out. The US is handing over the EPWSS, their latest state-of-the-art jamming and survivability suite. EPOS doesn't just block signals, it actively analyzes threats in real time, creates phantom radar signatures to confuse enemy air defenses, and throws up an invisible digital shield around the aircraft. This allows the jet to effortlessly survive in skies flooded with enemy radar and surface-to-air missiles. Now for the Fangs, this is the real highlight. While the classic F-15J strictly carried air-to-air missiles like the AAM-4B and AAM-5 for airspace defense, the JSI standard turns it into a heavy lifter. It carries significantly more air-to-air firepower and adds long-range strike capabilities with the AGM-158 JASSM cruise missile, which can hit targets nearly 1,000 kilometers away. Simply put, it can loiter safely over the Japanese home islands and rain fire on adversary bases, command centers, or ships far out into the Pacific. And all of this is tied together with an advanced data link that lets this legacy jet talk seamlessly with the stealthy F-35. But, of course, god-tier capability comes with a god-tier price tag. Look at that bottom line. Back in the 80s, Japan bought the bare airframes for around $40 million a pop, but overhauling the entire system for the JSI project, that jumps to roughly $120 million per jet. For the initial package of just 12 aircraft, you're looking at $1.44 billion. Dropping almost $1.5 billion just to upgrade 12 old airframes is no small change. A lot of people might ask, with this massive budget, which is 3 times the cost of the original jet, why doesn't Japan just spend that money buying more 5th-gen F-35s? Get brand new radar-evading jets straight out of the box, right? Well, there is a very profound and razor-sharp strategic reason behind this. The truth that people often forget is that a stealth fighter like the F-35 is designed to hide. It has a radar cross-section the size of a golf ball. But to maintain that stealth, it has to store all of its weapons internally, inside the fuselage. The F-35's internal weapons bays are incredibly tight. You can only squeeze in a handful of air-to-air missiles. The second you hang a missile on its external wing pylons, your stealth vanishes completely, and you light up on enemy radar like a Christmas tree. Now, picture a full-scale war scenario with me. The enemy isn't sending 2 or 3 planes. They're swarming in massive numbers, darkening the sky. A single F-35 might see the enemy first with its godlike sensors, but if it only has 4 missiles in its belly, what happens when it runs empty? Flying into a dogfight with just the internal gun against overwhelming numbers is an absolute nightmare. Stealth is an incredible advantage, but stealth doesn't carry infinite ammo. In a high-intensity conflict in the Pacific, volume of fire absolutely matters. And this is exactly where the F-15JSI shines. Japan is building a tactic known as manned-unmanned teaming, or the sensor and shooter network. In this equation, the F-35 acts as the ninja. It sneaks deep into the front lines, using its advanced sensors to paint targets without the enemy ever knowing it's there. But when it finds a target, the F-35 doesn't take the shot itself. Instead, it beams that targeting data back through a high-speed data link to the F-15JSI, loitering safely in the rear. Imagine this. The F-35 is flying completely undetected 100 miles ahead of the main force. It spots a formation of enemy fighters. Instead of revealing its position by opening its weapons bay doors, it silently beams the exact GPS coordinates back. The F-15JSI, without ever needing to turn on its own radar and give away its position, ripples off a massive volley of AAM-4Bs. The enemy never even knows they were targeted until the missiles are right on top of them. This F-15JSI doesn't need to be stealthy. It is literally a missile truck. Its greatest strength is its massive, rugged airframe that can carry immense weight. It can sling dozens of air-to-air missiles under its wings, or carry massive long-range strike weapons like the JASSM. The F-15JSI essentially acts as a samurai wielding a giant bow, taking targeting orders from the F-35 and unleashing heavy firepower from a safe distance. This perfectly covers the weaknesses of both aircraft generations. You get the ultimate survivability of stealth, combined with the maximum payload of a heavy fighter. Japan's decision to upgrade the F-15J to the Super Interceptor standard is a masterclass in long-term strategic vision. They know the F-15 airframe is still incredibly tough. Let's not forget, the F-15 family has an undefeated air-to-air combat record of over 100 wins and 0 losses. Its titanium structure was over-engineered from the start, meaning it can handle the stress of carrying heavy payloads and pulling high G-forces day in and day out for decades. By swapping out the brains, adding an AESA radar, and installing top-tier electronic warfare like EPWSS, they are making this grandfather of a jet capable of fighting shoulder-to-shoulder with 5th-gen fighters. Plus, it spreads out the risk. They aren't putting all their eggs in the F-35 basket. If an unforeseen technical issue or a software glitch ever grounds the entire F-35 fleet globally, which has happened before, the Japanese skies are still heavily guarded by the absolute beast that is the F-15JSI. All of this goes to show that military procurement isn't just about having deep pockets and pointing at the newest, most expensive toy on the catalog. It's about truly understanding the context and the specific threats your country faces. Japan is showing the world that taking what you already have, adapting it, and upgrading it to fit your specific tactical doctrine can create a defense system that is incredibly lethal and perfectly suited for modern warfare. An old plane doesn't mean it's obsolete, as long as the brain inside is light years ahead. So what do you guys think? Do you think Japan's strategy of turning the F-15J into the ultimate missile truck is a brilliant move? Is it worth the massive taxpayer cost? Or should they have just dumped that money into developing 6th-generation fighters right now? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I read every single one of them, just like always. If you enjoyed this kind of deep dive, no-nonsense strategic and military analysis, make sure to hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel to support what we do. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the new videos. That's it for today. Mick signing off. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.